And so just imagine 1 every 2 weeks as opposed to 4 every week.
Yep.
So we're doing 8 times the work, and we've seen the difference of how much it makes.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Driven. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the importance of speed. And one of the reasons why we're discussing it is because, since the inception of the business, time and time again, we realized that speed is important. And on top of that, one of our core values for the companies is speed. Yep. So with that, can you just elaborate, for one, why it's one of our core values, and then second, why, time and time again, we realize that speed is important?
Yes, and so I know it's part of our values or core values, but I know that's something we haven't really driven, not in a bad way, but driven down people's throats. But it's a value of ours because we know that it's important. And we used to read a lot, yeah, and saying fast, speed is important, but now we really understand why it's important.
Yep.
And so kind of we're gonna go through some examples of kind of why speed is important, to kind of paint the picture of how important it is. And then what was the other question?
Well, the first question was, why did we choose it to become one of our core values?
Yeah.
And then the second one is, just since the inception,
yeah,
we realized that speed is important because we maybe came across a certain situation, or just something happened.
Yeah, so it's just some examples that in business that we've gone through, because I'll just go through the first example. When business was slowing down, it was that steady decline, we knew we had to pretty much do something about it. And then I know we kind of had a limited product line, mm-hmm, or limited product, and so we knew that needed to expand because we just had we were in the car industry, so we needed just more in general.
Yep.
And so we started doing that, and initially we were gonna do probably only one product every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Let's just call it that, one product every 2 weeks. And so that was 8 months ago. So today we would probably have, 1, 2 a month. So that's 16.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew that wasn't, it wasn't, what do you call it? We knew we could do more. And so initially we started with, okay, no, you know what? It's not going to be 1 every 2 weeks. It's going to be 2 a week.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then we bumped it up to 3. Then we bumped it up to 4 a week.
Yep.
And so we started doing 4 a week. And so just imagine 1 every 2 weeks as opposed to 4 every week.
Yep.
So we're doing 8 times the work, and we've seen the difference of how much it makes.
Yep.
Just the difference. So 8 times the amount of vehicles that or products that we have currently now. And so I just imagine if we weren't to have done that, we wouldn't be in the current position. I think we would be probably still at that baseline, because for the older products, they were still going down, and so these products probably would have evened things out.
Yep.
And so we would have been in a completely different situation. And that's one of the things that we knew, speed is important. And then there's other examples too, it's important, I think, to businesses, but also to customers, because I look at the customer service, and some of the companies that I like best are, for example, Amazon, mm-hmm, and other things. Why? Because the fast shipping, fast customer service, and all those things. And then I look at the things that really irritate me or frustrate me, and I look at Spectrum, I look at USPS, I look at the IRS.
Yeah.
If we didn't have to use them, or we didn't have to go through them, I would not use them, just because of the speed that they provide when it comes to the customer service and other aspects, as opposed to Amazon. And so that's one of the things that I think we've realized time and time again, that speed is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of going back, how we later in business we started making faster and quicker and smarter decisions too. Imagine we implement this past year, we implement that at the beginning of the business.
Yep.
Where would we be at? Yep. It'll be huge, completely different. It would be 2 to 3 times the size currently. Yeah. That's how important speed is. If we were to have understood that, maybe fail faster at some of the things that we did, and then succeed faster at some of the things, or at the thing that is succeeding right now, and use that, and then started towards the beginning of the business, we would be in a completely different place, from the okay that we're doing to just a lot better.
No, definitely, I do agree. when you said speed is important, because just going back to how you said that if we would have been doing what we're doing right now, like pushing, driving, having that sense of urgency, if we were doing that at the beginning of the inception of the business, we would have been at a different level. It goes back to, one, we were complacent. And then second of all, we didn't have that sense of urgency.
Yep.
And when we mean speed, it's not just about doing something quick. It's about how fast you could implement it. If you're, like how you mentioned, if you're customer service, how fast do you reply to the customers? If you want to start something new in your business, maybe like a new service, how fast can you do everything? How fast can you set up the details? How fast can you set up the payment plans? How fast can you set up how much it's going to cost? And how fast can you launch it? So yeah, definitely I do agree. It's just having that sense of urgency.
Yeah, and then I think that's one of the things that even though like we might try to explain it as good as to the best of our abilities as possible, we knew that speed and fast was important, but we didn't really understand it. Yeah. That's one of the things, like, until now we understand it now, like why it's important. But back then we just used to hear it, all fast is important, doing speed is important, but now we like truly understand it, and that's something that we're, I think, always going to stick with. And even if it's not really fully understood why it's important, just know that it's very important, extremely important. And at least because we're in business, at least. And that's something to take away. I think that speed is important, implementation is important, decision making, quick decision making is important. All those things, quick speed is extremely important. And that's something that, at least on my end, and I think on your end too, that's something that to emphasize, that even though it might not be understood, it's extremely important, as we've learned.
No, I think everything was well said. Speed is definitely important, and we continue explaining it or giving examples, but it comes down to yourself, understanding by actually doing it. If you want to start a service, if you want to start a business, actually, do it as fast as possible. And I don't mean just do it to do it. But yeah, I mean, we learned the hard way. As always, we always learn the hard way.
Yep.
But with that, if you guys do have any examples, or if you're gonna start implementing things a lot quicker, let us know down in the comments below. Other than that, this has been another episode of Driven. My name is Alexis.
My name is Juan.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.